her for my entire childhood, tugging at her apron strings, I was pretty sure for the recipes I didn't have, I could remember most of the ingredients and churn out her best sellers, or at least be pretty close. Known for being the methodical and analytical one, I had carefully mapped out a blueprint to restore the business to what I called its glory days, when all we sold was ice cream. But all my planning and practical graduate coursework had gone straight out the window by week 2. I learned firsthand about real-world time delays. I'd never worried so much in my life. My plan had been to relaunch the shop at the Chagrin Falls annual Memorial Day Blossom Festival, but between the wrong glass shipping for my partition wall, a prolonged crop of rainstorms, and an overbooked contractor, it would be closer to our little village's October pumpkin roll before I could flip the sign on the shop door to open. I say closer because my vision still hadn't been actualized. The plexiglass wall needed to partition off the kitchen still hadn't arrived, and the supplier of our fair trade cane sugar had gotten into a 10-car pileup. No casualties, but tons of the white grains had been overturned across the highway, making me have to wait to get the first batches started until another truck could be loaded. It turned out to be only a 2-day delay. Thank goodness it had arrived in time. I reached over and flipped the shower head to pulsating, letting the water beat down and wash away those thoughts of all the hiccups that had tried to give my ice cream dream a meltdown. I basked in the spray for a few more minutes before I turned off the water, stepped out of the shower, and wrapped a towel around me. I slid my hand across the condensation on the mirror and grabbed a bottle of face moisturizer. Smearing the liquid under my eyes and across my forehead, I couldn't help but grin, thinking about how our little business, with me at the helm, was going to come full circle today. We were back to selling ice cream, and only ice cream. I pulled off my shower cap, ran a comb through my hair, and felt the first of the butterflies flapping around in my stomach. I whispered a little prayer and headed back to my bedroom to get dressed. My grandfather had often reminisced about how hard it had been for him and my Grandma Kay to start that little shop. Just relocating to the village of Chagrin Falls, a suburb of Cleveland from the south, had been an ordeal. My grandma hadn't gotten used to the snow and cold when they took on the business of digging in a frosty freezer every time she served a customer, but then she'd made it her own. Over the years, she came up with flavors that captured everyone's fancy: smooth and lemony luscious icebox pie, sprinkle-splattered cake batter, and my grandfather's favorite, pralines and cream, folds of gooey sweet caramel and salty praline pecans swirled into her homemade vanilla bean ice cream. But selling ice cream in a place where 4 seasons sometimes slid into 2, either hot or cold, meant our family business had hit more bumps than the almond-filled Rocky Road ice cream my Grandma Kay used to whip up for her famous cakes. So, to keep up, other family members had stuffed the shop shelves with non-ice cream items in an attempt to keep it viable all year round. Crewse Creamery had become more of a novelty shop. T-shirts, Chagrin Falls memorabilia, hot dogs, lemonade, and candy. "No one wants ice cream in the wintertime, Bronwyn," my Aunt Jack had said, calling me by my full name, something no one did, while setting up an Ohio lottery machine she'd purchased. "We have to follow the money. Diversify." With Aunt Jack's changes, our family business had been teetering on the point of no return, especially after she stopped making ice cream by hand. She ordered mix for soft serve and frozen tubs all the way from Arizona. Homemade ice cream had been what set us apart from all the other ice cream shops, but she said it made no economical sense to continue to make it half the year when she could get a year-long contract to supply ice cream to cover the late spring and summer months. Luckily, she'd found love on the internet and moved to follow her man to the Tar Heel state before the first shipment arrived. My radio alarm clock had popped on at 5 and was issuing a weather alert when I got back to my room. Cold, wet, dreary. Pulling back